Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Kathleen, and today's video I wanted to share with you guys my top 5 favorite childhood book series. Now when I say childhood, I mean like all the way up to I was 13, because after 13 I had a huge reading slump. From 8th grade all throughout high school I read, of course, the required reading for some of my classes, but otherwise I didn't read a lot. I wasn't very interested in reading back then. But up to when I was 13, I read a lot of books, and the person I have to thank for is my dad. My dad is the one who instilled that love of reading in me. When I was a little girl, what he did is that he paid me $1 for every book that I read. I pretty much read about 4 to 5 books a week, and even though it can be considered bribery, it kind of made me fall in love with reading. I read so much that I ended up enjoying to read, and pretty soon my dad didn't even have to pay me to read. So I wanted to go ahead and share with you guys some of my favorite book series from when I was a child all the way up to when I was 13. Alright, so the first book series that I fell in love with when I was a little girl is the Babysitter's Little Sister by Anne M. Martin. I probably discovered this book series when I was about 8 years old. The Babysitter's Little Sister is actually a spin-off series from the Babysitters Club, and it is about a 6 or 7-year-old girl named Karen, and Karen happens to be one of the babysitters, not only her stepsister but also one of the little kids that the Babysitters Club started babysitting. So Karen is just this energetic, imaginative 6-7-year-old. She was just such a fun little girl. She had a huge imagination, and she just went on big adventures with her friends. And as someone who was 8 years old back then, I really enjoyed the book series because back then I imagined myself a lot on Karen's shoes and just having the adventures that she did. She is actually the stepsister of Christy, who is one of the babysitters from the Babysitters Club. I pretty much read the entire series, at least all of the books that my library carried. I know that the book series I read online has over 100 books. And then the second book series that I fell in love with is, of course, the Babysitters Club by the same author, who is Anne M. Martin. The Babysitters Club is wildly popular. Most of you probably all read a book or two from that series, and it is about these 11 to 13-year-olds who start a Babysitters Club to make some money and also help out some of their neighbors who are looking for good babysitters. Christy, she is, I believe, the main character of the book series. I really liked Christy. She was just such a relatable main character, and she is just so much fun. I love reading about her problems growing up and going through puberty, and also having to deal with the Babysitters Club and especially the kids that they babysit. I just thought it was so much fun. They went on so many adventures, and it was just such a fun series to read. That book series probably has like over 100 books, and I have to say, as with the Babysitter's Little Sister, I probably read them all. At least I did read every single one that my school library carried. And then the next book series that I really fell in love with is actually a very drastic change from the Babysitters Club. And that book series is the Goosebumps series by R.L. Stine. I love the Goosebumps series. I have to say, I pretty much read every single book. And my school library was really good about getting new books in their stock. So they were constantly getting the new Goosebumps books, and I was so happy because when I ran out of Goosebumps books, I can always count on my school library to order more of the newer Goosebumps books, and I was so happy. I read them all. It was just, I loved it. If you lived under a rock and you never heard of the Goosebumps series, it's a middle grade horror series basically. You have werewolves, and you have ghosts, and you have like slimy monsters, and you have vampires. Anything and everything that has ever been in a horror movie or in a horror story, R.L. Stine wrote a middle grade book about it for the Goosebumps series, and I loved it. I read every single one, and they weren't long books. They were about 100 or so pages, and I got through them so fast. It was so fun. There were werewolves, there were vampires, there were slimy monsters, there were like haunted trees and haunted houses. It was just so fun. And the next book series that I absolutely loved when I was a child is the Fear Street series by R.L. Stine. Now, while the Goosebumps series was middle grade, the Fear Street was for more of an older audience, and I loved it. It was all about teenagers going through horrors in the Fear Street. R.L. Stine is still writing books for the Fear Street series, and I have read a couple of his new books, and they are just as amazing as they were when I read them back when I was a child. The Fear Street saga was just great. They were about undead boyfriends and undead girlfriends, and there were witches, and it was just fantastic, and I absolutely loved it. And if you have never read the Fear Street series, I would highly recommend it because they're just such a fun series. Alright, and then the fifth book series that I wanted to share with you guys that I loved reading as a young girl, it was a book series that I read a lot in 7th grade when I was about 12-13 years old, and it is Daughters of the Moon by Lynn Ewing. And this book series, it's mythological, and it is about these 14 girls who are mortal goddesses, and they are destined to fight this evil called the Aatrox, and they each have a different like supernatural ability. And one of them, Vanessa, she has the ability to become invisible. Her friend Katie has the ability to go back in time, and there's another girl who has the ability of telekinesis. Me and my group of friends were obsessed with that book series. My English teacher had a small library in her room, and she had the entire series there, and me and my friend read that entire series together. It was just such fun. This book series is about girls who are going through puberty, and they're going through high school problems, all the while having these supernatural abilities and knowing that they have this evil that is out there that they have to fight. And there's, I believe, 13 books total in the series. Just such a fun series about girls who kick ass, and they have these supernatural abilities and they have to fight evil. Who doesn't like that? It was just so much fun. Alright guys, so those are the 5 book series that I absolutely loved when I was a little girl. These are just books that I just, above all other books that I read, was just my favorites that I obsessed over when I was a little girl. Let me know down in the comments below what book series you really enjoyed reading as a child. I know Harry Potter was one of them, but then again, I didn't read Harry Potter till I was in my 20s. Anyway, thank you so much for watching guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a like if you did, and subscribe to my channel if you're not already. All of my social medias are linked down below if you would like to check it out, including Instagram, Goodreads, and Twitter. I hope to see you guys on my next video. Have a good day guys, and keep reading. Bye!